I'm big on accountability. Big on accountability. And listen, I used to be the woman who always wanted to be the victim. In every situation, woe is me, I'm the victim. Why did they do this to me? Why do they treat me like this? Why is this happening to me? And there's no growth there. When you have that victim mindset, all it does is keep you in victimhood. And all it does is make you believe that there's nothing you can do to change your circumstances or the results that you've been getting, when that's a lie. You have so much more power over your life than you give yourself credit for. If you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Jasmine. I'm so glad to have you. And in this video, I just want to talk to you guys about the importance of becoming accountable. Listen, a lot of times we do things that we wouldn't ordinarily do. We make decisions that might not have been the best decisions. We put ourselves in situations that weren't the healthiest, right? And it didn't work out. Something happened and now you feel bad about it. You might feel a little embarrassed. You might feel shame, guilt. But what if I told you that you're not a victim? Maybe whatever you went through really hurt you. Of course, maybe it did. Yes. Maybe somebody treated you poorly. Maybe you lost something that was very special to you. Yes, okay, I'm not taking that pain away from you. But what I am saying is, you're not a victim. You are not a victim. It happened. Use what happened as an experience to get better. Use what happened as a lesson so you don't repeat it again. I want you to ask yourself, what are things that I could have done differently to prevent this from happening or to remove myself sooner than when I did? Were there signs that they were toxic? Were there signs? Were there red flags that you just didn't pick up on? I want you to understand you can only do as, what's the phrase? You can only use the tools that you have in your toolbox at the time in which the situation took place. You can't do what you don't know. So maybe you didn't know what all the red flags were. Maybe you didn't. But now you know what those red flags are. So the next friendship that you get in, you'll know what to look out for. But if you sit in victimhood of, oh, they treated me like this, and why they do this to me, and oh my God, people are so mean to me, well, you're not taking the time to analyze what happened and learn from it. You got to take some accountability too. One of the toughest reality pills that I had to swallow on my own glow up journey. And if you got ego, go ahead and leave now, because this is not the space for you. I'm not sitting here saying you have to be humble. I don't believe in the word humble. Why would I ever think I'm less than? Like, I'm with you on that. But that ego, if it's not in check, it can hold you back. And this is about to shatter that little ego of yours. Look, your life and the direction it's going in, whether it's going great or not so great, is a direct reflection of the choices that you made. And I know you may not want to hear it, but it's true. It really is true. Not always. I'm not talking about certain illnesses, okay? I'm not talking about that. But as far as like finances, as far as like your weight, as far as like, did you get that degree you say you wanted, as far as having a low paying job, and as like those things, being in toxic relationships, those things. There were things that you did that brought that on yourself. I told you guys, I used to be 100 pounds overweight, okay? And for years, I used to yo-yo diet. So I would lose 20, gain 30, lose 40, gain 60. And it was just this toxic cycle of just losing weight just to gain it back and then some. And my obesity was a direct reflection of the foods that I chose to eat and the exercises that I chose not to do. That's the truth. I used to live paycheck to paycheck when I had my 9 to 5. And I also used to live paycheck to paycheck when I first started entrepreneurship. And for the longest time, especially when I was working my 9 to 5, I blamed my paycheck to paycheck lifestyle on just the fact that I didn't make enough money. And that if I could just, work more overtime or get a higher paying job, then that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle would improve, right? And back then, this is before COVID, okay? So this is before inflation. I was making about $60,000 a year, and that was before overtime, okay? And I didn't have too many deductions coming out. Health insurance, I think, was like $25, $25 a paycheck, so $50 a month. But making that $60,000 back then, no children, that was more than enough money. That was more than enough money. But you want to know why I was living paycheck to paycheck back then? You want to know the truth? The truth is I was living above my means. I had went out and bought a Dodge Charger. And I had already had a car that I had financed. I had a Sentra. And so all I did was carry negative equity from that Sentra onto that Charger. And that's why the bill was so high. But I didn't even need to get a car payment at all, not even when I had the Sentra, because I already had a car that worked. I had a car that was paid off. I had a car that got me from point A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. It got me where I needed to be. Now, was it a looker? No, it was not a looker, okay? It was rusty. Like you could literally peel the car apart. Like it was rusted as hell. It was like a flood car, right? But it worked. It had its inspection sticker. The brakes were breaking. Okay. The AC was cooling. The radio system was thumping. Like it had what it needed. Okay. But because it didn't look the part of someone who makes $60,000 a year, whatever that even looks like, I decided to go upgrade my car to match my upgraded life of being a $60K a year earner at 23 years old. That was my fault. And I was going to keep running into that same pattern over and over and over again until I fixed it. That was my fault. That was my fault. You have to have accountability and recognize where you went wrong in situations so that you can learn from it and do better. But sitting in that whole victimhood mindset that woe is me, it just keeps happening to me and blah, 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 that's not allowing you to grow. That's making you believe that there's nothing you could have done to improve your circumstances. And that's just the way it's going to always be. When that's not true. You are not a victim. You are an empowered woman. Okay. On my channel, this is about empowerment. This is about self-improvement. This is about becoming your highest version, becoming the version of you that you need to become in order to attract the things that you want. And you cannot attract greatness with a victim mindset. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So stop. There are always things that you could have done better. Just accept that as truth and move forward. Gotta have some accountability. And a lot of times, I really believe a lot of people lack self-awareness. And I used to lack that too, okay? And I don't think anyone's perfect. No one's perfect. But the level of self-awareness improves as you develop accountability. And if you lack self-awareness, then you don't have the ability in this moment to look at things that you did that brought it upon you. Because you want to blame everybody else. Because you're a victim. Because you're just innocent. That's got to change. That's got to change. Accountability is key. You have to be able to self-reflect in all situations and ask yourself, maybe did I see what was there, or did I see what I wanted to see? Ladies, a lot of times we'll see what we want to see, but not what's really right in front of us. And that takes some accountability to acknowledge and accept, and then to grow from it. But you can't achieve anything if you carry this victim mindset. And also, too, what ends up happening, we attract what we are. I know that may not be something that people want to accept, but it is truth. Because sometimes we'll have friends and we'll be like, I'm nothing like her. Believe it or not, y'all alike in some way, shape, or form. That's why y'all get along so well. If y'all didn't get along, if y'all weren't similar, you wouldn't get along. The apple does not fall too far from the tree. The birds of feathers flock together. You are a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So in some way, shape, or form, you're just like them. And so what you've done is you've surrounded yourself with other people who have victimhood mindsets. And so all y'all just sitting around talking about all your problems and how you can't fix anything. And so then that makes you believe that you really are a victim. Because you got other people enabling that victim mindset because they have a victim mindset. And that's not getting you anywhere. So you have more control over your life than you think. Don't live in shame and guilt and regret. Those are heavy emotions to carry with you every single day. Those emotions will weigh you down. They will destroy you. So you have to forgive yourself, but just move forward. It's a new day. You have another day, another opportunity to work on what you want to work on, and you want to sit in victimhood. You want to sit in shame and guilt and just cry and feel defeated instead of just get up and create the life that you've always wanted with the time that you still have. Make it make sense? The math ain't mathin'. The math ain't mathin'. You are not a victim. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Also, you guys make sure you join the Patreon. The link is down below in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.